evening, YouTubers. This is Reagan Conservative 82. I have another account on this particular website, but this is the one I want to devote to the majority of my political commentary. As you can tell by the title of the video, it is illegal immigration needs to stop now, and I completely agree with this in every way, shape, matter, form, and fashion you could possibly think of. Illegal immigration is a major problem with this nation. A lot of people say that, they just want to turn a blind eye to it, and that's not what we need. We need true leadership and leadership that is going to be able to at least start solving the problem and not continue adding to it. I was watching they replayed the Republican debate, the one that took place in Myrtle Beach, and really, when it comes down to an immigration policy, I think very strongly that Fred Thompson has the best idea for what we should do in terms of illegal immigrants. Um, One thing I don't necessarily agree with is all of these candidates talking about, you know, the immigrants that have broken the law should, of course, be deported. Last time you know, last I thought of it, the term illegal is means unlawful. You broke the law just by being here. The second you stepped across the border against, our rule of law, against our immigration policy, you broke the law. They're all unlawful. Send them all back. I don't care if they're coming from India. I don't care if they're coming from China, Mexico, Canada, Puerto Rico, Peru, Argentina, any goddamn place. I don't care where they're coming from. Send them all back. If they're not here legally, then they don't deserve to be here. Period. Alright? Plain and simple. Now, I will say this. Giuliani, he was talking about, how he said that, illegal immigrants would not have to state themselves, state their status in reporting crimes, things along those lines. I actually agree with that. And first of all, he shouldn't have to concern himself with that because it's not a city's problem as long as it's not a sanctuary city. Not offering a whole bunch of different, I suppose, different benefits to illegals when they're not contributing anything to it. But when you're talking about somebody giving back to society in terms of, letting you know about a murder, a rape, a theft, something along those lines, then I completely agree. They should not have to fork over their status necessarily. The problem with immigration, with illegal immigration, is the fact that nobody stops it at the most basic level. There's an easy way to stop illegal immigration. I'll tell you how. Um, Make sure that these illegal immigrants cannot get employment. That they have to have, verification, background checks, in terms of, are you an illegal immigrant or not? They need to have documentation. Uh, it's very specific documentation. Same thing when they're applying for a house, like a loan for a house, or to rent a property or something along those lines. If you find out that businesses are intentionally trying to hire illegal immigrant labor, then those businesses need to be punished in the most severe manner possible. And businesses, the best way for a business to get punished is through the pocketbook. So punish their pocketbooks. Same thing with landlords who let illegals, knowingly let illegals rent their properties. Um, when you have sanctuary cities that are, offering medical treatment, that are offering education, that are offering all these different benefits that illegal immigrants should not be getting because they're not paying into our tax code, here's how you penalize those cities. You stop sending any sort of federal funding to them whatsoever. No federal funding at all. Believe me. And Thompson is right. You will have compliance of attrition. You will all of a sudden have every single city in our country in full support of, handing over information about illegal immigrants and not being a sanctuary city. Do that, and everything. And same thing with churches. Any church, any religious faction, or anything along those lines that's also providing sanctuary for illegal immigrants, they lose their funding as well. it really follow the money. I mean, everything comes down to just following the money. If you hurt a business's pocketbooks, you hurt a church's pocketbooks, you hurt any sort of special interest group's pocketbooks because they're doing something illegal, they'll stop doing it because it will not be beneficial to them to continue doing illegal activity. That's the only reason why anybody does anything illegal. You think a drug dealer deals drugs because he just wants to do that? That was his dream job growing up? No, a drug dealer deals drugs because it's profitable. High risk, high reward. Same thing with a thief or anything along those lines. It's high risk, high reward. The high reward is what people focus on. Period. So if you take away the reward, all of a sudden you don't have people committing the crime. Just the same thing. If you were to legalize marijuana, and I'm just putting this as an example, I don't condone the legalization of marijuana, but let's say that you legalize marijuana. Just like, actually, let's utilize something that actually did occur when when we had prohibition going on earlier in this or earlier last century. We had prohibition going on. What happened? All of a sudden, you had, and me being from Chicago, you had the Chicago mafia, or whatever you want to say. The Capone era. You had, all these different mobsters, thugs, and gangsters, and everything like this. Producing all this moonshine. All of a sudden, they built this incredible, this unbelievable, and highly sustainable during the period of prohibition. Very, very profitable regime. They did it, illegally because they took something that everybody wants. Everybody wants the opportunity to drink alcohol. And once you make alcohol illegal, guess what? Somebody is going to make it illegally, and they're going to make a very good profit doing that. Same thing with marijuana. If you were to legalize marijuana, all of a sudden you wouldn't have all these drug dealers dealing marijuana. Now, granted, the same drug dealers that would ordinarily deal marijuana would probably go and start dealing cocaine, heroin, acid, and shit like that. But regardless of the fact, if you take away the reward, you won't have people committing the crime. There will be no reason to. There will be nothing in it for them. And by them, I mean the corporations and companies that are hiring illegal labor, and the people, the landlords and everything that are renting to these illegal tenants. Wash your hands of it. Simple and effective. And cheap. It's cheap too. Nobody ever focuses on that. Follow the money. I mean, if something, it's the easiest thing to do. Some people ask, how can you get between 12 and 20 million people out of this country? You put me in office. If I was running for president, if you gave me complete control of the government for a week, let me search through all this damn stupid red tape. I'll give you a solution, and I'll give you one that, guess what? It's going to be fiscally responsible and something that can be accomplished in a very short period of time. Now, granted, it's not going to be like instantaneous. It'll probably take a couple of years to get them all out of here, because some people were very, very resilient, and they'll stay just to spite you. But in actuality, the majority of the people, they'd have no choice but to go back home. And that's all I'm saying. Definitely, I look forward to hearing people's responses in regards to this matter. I'd like to hear, your opinions and everything. Feel free to send me video responses and everything like that if you like what I have to say, or if you want me to talk about another topic of discussion, preferably politically, politically related. Feel free, let me know. Send me a text comment or shoot me an email or a video or anything like that. Um, you know, Stating what it is you want me to talk about. When it comes to politics, I'll talk about just about anything. And I have a very conservative viewpoint in regards to what it is that I talk about. So if you're a very staunch liberal, you might not want to watch my videos because you won't agree with anything I have to say. Then again, if you're a hardcore conservative, boom, you'll definitely like me. Anyways, arrivederci, adios, bon voyage, auf Wiedersehen, sayonara, see you later, and we'll talk soon. Bye.